Nah, 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 nah. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye.
Angel Hernandez is gone forever. He's not dead, he's just retiring.
You are Locked On Blue Jays, your daily Toronto Blue Jays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jays. Thank you for making Locked On Blue Jays your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. I'm Braden Uwasco. He's Carter First. You can follow us on Twitter, Braden5Uwasco, Carter First 2. You can also find us on TikTok and Instagram at Locked On Blue Jays as well. Drop a subscription here on YouTube. You guys have sort of been killing it lately. It's been really, really good. Gotten some new followers. That's awesome. And keep listening wherever else you find your podcast. Well, it's official. Angel Hernandez is retiring tomorrow from the MLB. And Carter, I don't know, man. Long time coming. I never want to prey on a guy's downfall, but I've never preyed on a man's downfall so much than Angel Hernandez.
Angel Hernandez just single-handedly changed the game, and not in a good way whatsoever. He just completely messed up calls left, right, and center. One of the worst umpires I think I have ever seen in my life. And he was so protected for so long by the umpiring union. Do you think this is like a conspiracy theory, I guess we'll get into? Do you think this was kind of forced? Like, Angel, we're just sick of you at this point. Like, just get out of here. Like, you're done. We've held on to you for so long. We've defended you for this long. We're just sick of it. People are asking for the robo-umps. It's gaining a lot of traction. You got to leave. You got to get out of here.
I think maybe that's a part of it. Is like, obviously, some fans want to go to the robot umps or whatever, the AI umps or whatever you want to call it. And if that happens, it makes umpires a little bit obsolete. So in their thinking, they got to put their best brand of baseball out there to protect themselves. And Angel Hernandez, surprisingly or not, was not the best of the umpires. I've actually broken down Angel Hernandez's like umpiring statistics, I want to say, which percentile he's in. He's sort of like, what's it called? Like Fangraphs or whatever it is.
Baseball Savant is the percentile.
Savant.
So yeah, you got the full-on information about Angel Hernandez. Really just going to break down this guy's interesting career. You could say maybe he's in the Hall of Fame for like the worst umpire of all time. And Angel Hernandez is going to be like not even ricochet shots. This is just head on. Like this guy, maybe shotgun to the face this podcast, unfortunately for him. Because this guy, like just as a baseball fan, like I'm all for like umpires. I want in-person umpires. I hate the robo-ump idea, but Angel Hernandez, if you watch this guy umpire a baseball game, hey, the robo-umps don't look too bad, honestly, because some of the calls that this guy made, I'm sure there's going to be a ton of Angel Hernandez compilations that are going to come out, and I'm so ready to see them because there has been so many terrible calls throughout this guy's career, but I'll give it to you to break down Angel Hernandez.
All right, let's start with his accuracy. I'm just going to tell you the percentile that he's in. So he's sitting at a 93.2% accuracy, which puts him in the 26th percentile. So not good. And that's one of his
worse, actually.
I think, well, it's one of his best statistics. So his expected accuracy. So I'm not sure exactly how all of these umpiring statistics work, but he's 93.6% expected accuracy, which I guess puts him in the 69th percentile. So good on him for whatever that means.
Congrats.
Yeah. Then his accuracy above expected is at a 0.39% below expected, which puts him in the 11th percentile. So tough on that one. Definitely tough. His consistency is in the 20th percentile. So, it's not good, but it's not the bottom of the barrel, I guess. The favor. He favors a team for 0.7 runs per game, which is an insane thing to think about. He is changing baseball games with his calls every time he's out there.
This guy's almost giving a random team a full run in a baseball game. That's how much impact this guy has on games, which is just, that one blew my mind when we talked a little bit about these stats before the podcast. And that was one of the ones that absolutely blew me away.
Just insane. So that puts him in the 4th percentile. 4.
And just so people know, 1 is where you don't want to be in these percentiles. You want to be 99. You want to be honestly above 50 if you're an umpire. But the fact that he's in the 4th percentile is impressive to say the least here. What a career.
And now to his leverage. So this is runs of impact per call. So per call, he is impacting a run at 0.18 runs per call. Per call is an insane statistic. He is legitimately like everything out the window. He is changing games by the pitch, which is insane, which puts him in the 1st percentile, the bottom of the barrel, Angel Hernandez. This is horrible. I don't know. This is just the worst. This is one of the worst pages of statistics I think you'd want to see as an umpire.
I mean, I don't even feel bad for just kind of giving him, putting him in the dirt, honestly, is what we're doing here. But this guy's been in the league way too long. I'll be the first one to say that. His time was due so long ago. Do you know how long he was in the league for?
Not exactly, but I can figure it out.
Okay, well, yeah, you get on that, but I'm just going to go into Angel Hernandez. Like, the best way to describe an umpire, in my opinion, is you don't want to notice them at all in a baseball game. You notice Angel Hernandez within 3 pitches if he's at home plate. He's going to make a call on his first opportunity. He's probably going to blow it. Some of these calls, thank God for replay. That's his comment in the last couple of years, because that has probably saved a ton of teams from Angel Hernandez. But I looked like you pulled up this the stat here, how long he's been in the league for. So I'll throw it back to you.
I want you to take a guess. Whatever you guess, it's going to be wrong, but take a guess.
I think he was probably in the league in the 90s, I want to say. So I'll go like 32 years, maybe.
Oh, wow. That's a fantastic guess. It's 33 years.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Great.
See, I just know my guy. What can I say?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like 25, and then I saw 30, and I'm like, whoa. And then 33, like, how is this guy still in the league? It's just insane. You know what? I was going to say I hate to dog on him, but I love to dog on him because he is so bad. It's time. It's time to go. I think everybody's known it for probably 10, 12 years now, which is a sad thing to say. But I mean, how do you get ripped apart on Twitter, broadcasts by the players and not just think, hey, maybe it's time for me to hang him up?
Yeah, do you ever think that like players like saw that they have Angel Hernandez and like, oh God, here we go again. Like this game's just going to be the worst thing of all time. Like they have to know that like, okay, I can't get in my head when Angel Hernandez is going to blow probably 1 strike or ball call per at bat. I'm just going to have to kind of roll with the punches. Do you think that changes their approach as well? You don't want to get to 2 strike counts. You don't want to put faith in Angel Hernandez. And once you get to that 2 strike count, it would be cool to see if we really did a full breakdown on this guy, that like the average time that these players swing in 2 strike counts versus when they have Angel Hernandez behind the plate. I think that would be an insane stat. I don't know where you would get that from. It's probably not out there, but it would be so funny to just like get like a full advanced stats page on Angel Hernandez as well, which I guess we sort of went over a little bit, but just a crazy thing in the baseball world with this umpire union. There's nothing like it in any other sport.
No, there's really not. And honestly, I don't necessarily know if there's a guy like Angel Hernandez in any other sport. He is a one of a kind. And honest to God, I'm going to be, maybe this is the wrong word. I'm going to be sad to see him go, just in the sense that like, if you're watching a baseball game with Angel Hernandez behind the dish, you're like, all right, you don't know what you're going to get. This could be an absolute, this could be chaos. And it was sort of the fun of it, but I mean, I think it's well past time. And in saying that, Carter, I think what else is well past time is a Blue Jays win that we definitely have to get into. And I know we wanted to go after Angel Hernandez a little bit because it was time. But yeah, I think we'll take a quick break here and then we'll go on a full breakdown of today's win by the Toronto Blue Jays. Today's episode is brought to you by Stitch Fix. You know that instant confidence boost you get from an outfit that makes you look really good? That's what I get with Stitch Fix. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist who understands your style, size, budget. They do all the shopping for you. It's the easiest way to update your wardrobe. this season, I always say I could probably use that. I think I wear like the same 4 outfits. I have like 2, I want to call them going out outfits. It's actually horrendous. So this might help me out a little bit. Easily upgrade your wardrobe this year with a professional stylist that helps you find new on-trend favorites. That will work for you. I just give my stylist my size, style, budget preference. I order boxes when I want and how I want, no subscription required. And they send me 5 just for me pieces, plus outfit recommendations and pro styling advice. I keep what works and send back the rest. Style that makes you feel as good as you look. Get started today at stitchfix.com/MLB and get $20 off your first fix. That's stitchfix.com/MLB for $20 off. Stitchfix.com/MLB. Must redeem within 7 days of sign up. So I said, Blue Jays come back off a 3-game losing streak here and get a win against the Chicago White Sox. And I know what everybody's thinking. Hey, don't get too high on this game. You're facing the Chicago White Sox. Well, you're 100% right. But we got very down on this team for losing to the Detroit Tigers. And yes, they're not as bad as the Chicago White Sox, but they're still not very good. So Blue Jays get a 5-1 win. Not that crazy of a game. I'd really, a lot of home runs. It was good to see from the boys. Carter, overall thoughts on today's game?
I'm not very positive about this game whatsoever, honestly. Like, I know we won 5-1 against the Chicago White Sox, but Nick Nastrini is so bad. I know he's young, but he has looked horrible in his MLB career so far. Very short at that, but this guy had an 11.91 ERA going into this game. Like, this guy's just simply not good at baseball right now. I'm sorry. Like, he is young. So again, you see Alec Manoah, you see a bunch of these guys that do struggle when they're young. Kevin Gausman wasn't that good until his later 20s. So again, is he going to be Kevin Gausman? Probably not. But this guy's line today, 5 innings pitched, 3 hits given up, 3 earned runs, 5 Ks, and 4 walks. This guy almost got a quality start against the Toronto Blue Jays. You get 3 hits against Nick Nastrini. The amount of times this guy threw a fastball over the middle, it's at 95, which again is pretty much league average, maybe slightly above. You got to take advantage of this guy. Like, you only had 3 at-bats the entire game where you had runners in scoring position. They go 0 for 3, and that's not all against Nick Nastrini, but I'm not taking a lot from this game at all. I think that if you lost this game, like, it didn't happen, but hypothetically, I don't know how I would have did this podcast. I don't know if I would have been like here, like mentally, I just would have been completely done. Like Nick Nastrini, again, he's not a good pitcher, and you almost give this guy a quality start. The at-bats just didn't look that good. They're missing middle fastballs. Absolutely insane. I'm not taking a lot from this game. I mean, you get like one positive, I guess we could go into here is George Springer hits a home run for the first time in 22 games. 4 home runs on the year, which again, for George Springer, that's not great whatsoever. And looking at IKF, comparing to George Springer, I think these guys are almost like having reverse seasons, you could say. IKF has 4 home runs. George Springer and Bo Bichette, sorry, Bo Bichette, ricochet shot, you've been better as of late, but Bo Bichette also has 4 home runs. Like, it's not good. Like, IKF is obviously not a power hitter. I think we went into it a couple podcasts ago that his bat speed is like bottom 10 in all of baseball. And IKF has had a great season. I don't want to take anything away from him, but this guy's known as a contact hitter. So the fact that George Springer and Bo Bichette as well can even be in the same conversation in terms of slugging and hitting the ball out of the ballpark, it's just not where you want to be as a Blue Jays fan.
No, not at all. And that's sort of what I was getting into is today's game felt boring. For a 5-1 win, it just felt really boring because the hits just didn't come in bunches again. And maybe that's I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing we didn't leave runners on base, but then we didn't get hits. So it's hard to leave runners on base when you don't get hits. It was an overall just sort of whatever game for me. I thought it was going to be fun. I was at work. I was working the 7-3. I threw on the TV the Blue Jays game. Me and a couple of sports guys were watching and sort of following along. And it was sort of like, oh, great. This is a team that we should beat, and we didn't really beat up on them. And maybe we should stop saying that these are teams we should beat because maybe not. Maybe these aren't teams we should beat. Maybe these are the teams we're fighting against. That's what's frustrating. And I thought Bassett had a really good day again. I thought Bassett pitched well. Honestly, the whole bullpen did well. I mean, Swanson, whatever, gave up a run. But I mean, I don't know. The rest of them did well, and that's what I mean. It's like the one day you get good pitching, you don't get the bats, and the next day you get the good bats, and you don't get the good pitching. I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. This team has to find a way to bring it all together. And so far this season, there's absolutely zero cohesion.
Yeah, I mean, like you can't give them too much grief here because they did win the baseball game. At the end of the day, I don't. It doesn't really matter how it happens at this point. Like your offense can get like 17 hits and score 11 runs. If you don't win the game, I don't care at this point.
Yeah.
The offense did enough. Like you hit 3 home runs, that's a positive. Davis Schneider, huge insurance runs after a little bit of PTSD from that Tiger series. I did not want to go into the bottom of the 9th inning, only up 2 runs, just in case something were to happen. So that was huge for this team. But yeah, looking at Chris Bassett's day, I mean, for just his stat line here, 5 innings pitched. That could have went way longer, but Bo Bichette made one of the worst errors, maybe of his career today.
Yeah, it was
Literally
bad.
a soft liner, not even a liner. I'd say a soft pop up. And he calls IKF off. It would have been a tough play for IKF. But again, this ball was not hit hard at all. And Bo Bichette just pulls his best Vladdy impression and just misses the baseball. And then another hit, I can't remember who it was, but he was so late on the swing. IKF kind of shifting over, just a little weak ground ball down that third base line, kind of screwed him over a little bit. If Chris Bassett gets that Bo Bichette pop out, he's at like 72 pitches, probably going to pitch the 6th, maybe even goes out for the 7th. But again, this Chicago White Sox team, without Luis Robert Jr., especially, they are terrible. Like I would hate to be a White Sox fan. Sorry for any White Sox fans listening to this podcast, but again, like it's pretty bad in Blue Jays land. But this White Sox team, I mean, maybe it's different because there's no expectation. I don't think anyone in the White Sox organization necessarily thought this team was going to be good. When you look at the Toronto Blue Jays, some people were having this team had World Series aspirations, and clearly that's not working out so far. And I'm not even going to say it's early because honestly, it's not really that early anymore. I mean, we're pretty much a third of the way into the season. Like it is early, I guess, in a sense, but like you got to start winning baseball games. They get it done today. But yeah, I mean, this is one of those games that you can't really get too excited about. Other than, I guess, you can get excited about George Springer, 2 for 3 with a walk. Obviously, hit that home run. A guy that needs to get something going here. Maybe George Springer just loves the 7-hole. That's what some people. I like that spin zone. He had probably his best game of the year, you could say. Again, it's against Nick Nastrini and the Chicago White Sox, but at some point you got to take a little bit of positives. But I'm getting to the point where I'm just sick and tired of these like little spin zones. We got to just start winning baseball games, and we did get that done today.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the big parts is that we did win, right? This team can figure out ways to win baseball games. The only frustrating part is exactly that. It's like when you win, it doesn't. Some games just don't feel great, and then today was one of those days where it just didn't feel like it all came together. Big day for Davis. You know what? Anytime that guy succeeds, I'm on board. The home run today, electric. Him getting to put on the jacket for the first time. I think that was his first time putting on the jacket, if I'm not wrong.
Good possibility. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
I'm pretty sure.
Exactly,
I think, you know what? I said this before. I follow his sisters on Twitter because they have some of the best posts about Davis. It's so funny. And I'm a big Davis Schneider guy. I got his jersey. He's just electric out there. And so anytime he succeeds, that's fantastic. Some people might not like that take, but at this point, I don't know how you dislike Davis Schneider.
Yeah, for you like Davis Schneider could make 4 errors in the game, and you'd find a way to say, "Oh yeah, like the wind was really like busy that day. It was really gusting like crazy, it was swirling." Like again, you said Davis Schneider looked unreal today. I don't know if I'd necessarily say that, but I mean the classic 1 for 4 with a home run. Again, he's got a walk mixed in there as well. I'm taking that.
Yeah,
Again,
exactly. So, I don't know. He's just doing his job on a more consistent basis than anybody else is. I find besides Vlad right now. I got to give Vlad his props. Outside of today's game, I guess, but
it didn't look good today.
But overall, I mean, you look at the past 8 games, 9 games, he's been electric. Maybe more than that.
You can even extend it more than that. You can almost say the last 20 games for Vlad at this point. Again, like I'm not going to complain about the batting order anymore. I'm really not, because George Springer is not hitting high up in the order. They have Vladdy hitting 3, normally Jano hitting 2 when he's playing, and then Davis Schneider at 1. So if I'm really nitpicking this order, I think at this point, with how Vladdy's kind of just turning it into the singles merchant, I would like to see him moved up to 2, and maybe you throw Jano at 3, because Jano has been hitting for more power. But again, if George Springer is not hitting in the top 4, top 5, I'm going to be happy with this team at this point. I mean, and at some point, like I think we said before, like you can't blame John Schneider when this team's just not hitting. So it doesn't matter. Again, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you put guys. You want your best hitters to have the most at bats. But if they're not going to produce, it doesn't matter anyway. But just looking at this lineup today, we got David Schneider, Giano, Vladdy. I mean, Vladdy's at bat in the seventh there. You got a huge moment in the game. It's top of seventh. You have one out, runner on third, runner on first, and he just does the George Springer classic, other than this game, and just rolls over, just a tailor-made ball to second, takes it himself, and Vladdy's not even running down the baseline. I mean, I don't know if he has a chance anyway, but again, you want to see a little bit more effort when you put that bad of a swing on the baseball. But again, I'm not gonna dog Vladdy too much. He's definitely not been the problem on this team. One thing that I've kind of found interesting is a lot of people are saying this team should be blown up. This team should be blown up. And I definitely thought that after the Tigers game. But today, like for my job, I can listen to a lot of like videos, podcasts, stuff like that. So I'm like, you know, you might as well maybe get some different takes on the Toronto Blue Jays. And I heard some things and I kind of realized that honestly, right now, when you're looking at this team, I wouldn't say Vladdy's the problem. I wouldn't say Bo Bichette's the problem. Dave Schneider's not the problem. Justin Turner is a huge problem right now. He has looked terrible. George Springer is a problem. Kevin Biggio has looked bad. Again, you're not really relying on Kevin Biggio, but it's more so the veterans, I would say, that are the problem right now. Again, Kevin Kiermaier, you could argue this guy's not very offensive anyway. But then even you look at the pitching, other than the starting rotation, I mean, Tim Meza has just been ridiculously bad. Jordan Romano is getting no, he's not getting old, but he's been in the league for long enough. He has not been good this season. So you need these guys to pick it up. Like Vladdy, again, you want to hit more power with Vladdy, but if Vladdy had any other name, and if this guy just had less expectation, there's no reason why you should be mad at Vladdy's production right now. Again, you do want to hit him to hit more for power. And that's just a problem with this lineup in general, is that it seems like nobody's hitting for power. Like Dalton Varsho is leading the team in home runs, I believe, at 10 now, which isn't terrible, but you're on pace. Your leading home run hitter is probably going to have 28 to 32 home runs. Not necessarily something you want, but then the next guy, I mean, I don't even know who's second on the team in home runs. I'd have to take a quick look here. Dalton Varsho at 10 and then 7. No, that's Chris Bassett. Here, I'll give it back to you if you have anything else to add about this Toronto Blue Jays game. I'll find the home run stuff here.
Yeah, just talking within the trades. I know, everything came out a couple days, or that might have been last week, about trading Vlad and Bo and whatever. My thinking is, if you're going to blow this team up, and then that's what everybody wants to do, some people are saying, oh, well, we got to keep Vlad, or, oh, we got to keep Bo, trade Vlad, whatever it is. I think if you're blowing this team up, it's on all or nothing. This isn't a one or the other scenario. Like, you're talking about a 5-year rebuild, most likely, and you're trading away Vlad and Bo, and George, you're probably going to try to package George in with somebody to get rid of him.
You're not going to be able to trade George Springer. This guy has one of the worst OPSs in the league.
Yeah, it's terrible. But you're going to have to.
No way.
You're going to have
nobody's going to want a $25 million. Like, you're going to have to eat probably 80+% of his salary, and even at that point, nobody what about George Springer?
You have to. You have to try to get rid of him. If you have to give up something and get him off the payroll. That's what you have to do.
There's just no way that would happen. I don't see any scenario where a team's like,
you don't think you could give him a trade to like the Marlins right now?
What are you taking from the Marlins?
You're not a ton. You're probably having to give George and something else to them just to get him off the payroll. But otherwise, you're gonna be stuck playing George over some guys that you probably want to get at bats, maybe a Horwitz or Elvis.
No,
you can't have him dragging down the lineup.
I would love that to happen, but I just don't see a scenario where any team would want George Springer based off how he's played. But go back to the home run thing. So, yeah, Dalton Varsho was at 10. And then your next leading home run hitter has 5 home runs. Like, they're on pace for 15, 16, whatever, 17 home runs. That's just not good enough. You need more home run hitters, especially when it comes to the playoffs. As you've seen, they're going to be facing good pitching. And it's a lot easier to hit a home. Well, okay, you gotta stay with me here. It's a lot easier to hit a home run than it is to string together 3-4 singles. You're probably more likely going to hit a home run, especially with this team, than you are with this lineup stringing together 4 hits. And in these scenarios, yeah, you could hit singles all you want in the playoffs, but the home runs are what pays you the big bucks. And if this team somehow even makes the playoffs, that's not even where we're going at. You need home run hitters. Home run hitters change the game. You can change the game with one swing, and the Blue Jays just don't have that right now.
I have a question for you, but I think I'm going to save it for Thursday's episode, just because we might spend 15 minutes talking about it. So I want to save that one. But yeah, I agree with you. I think there needs to be more power on this team, and I think we have some guys that can do it. It's just that they got to figure it out, and maybe that's just not in the cards. And maybe, but then if we start talking about, hey, that's just not in the cards, then what are we doing? Then it has to be a blow up situation. And I don't know. You know what? It's hard for me as a fan to decide if I want to see this team blow up or if I want to see this team just try to fight it out. And a little bit of me doesn't envy the front office to try to make this decision, because I don't think that they know what they want to do right now.
See, especially with this front office and the way they've shown to rebuild, especially with Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro. You're looking at this team a few years ago. They had a top 5 prospect system in the league, and look where we're at right now. So say you do trade Bo Bichette, say you trade Vladdy, these prospects aren't guaranteed to work out anyway. And you look at a lot of these trades. You look at the Corbin Burns trade. You look at the Mookie Betts trade. Right now, I think it's Colton Wong. It's pretty much Colton Wong for Mookie Betts. That's not good, obviously. And then you got the Juan Soto thing. Like, I know Michael King was in that trade. There's probably a couple other pieces, but who's to say that you're going to know half of these pieces in 3 years? So I just think that you have talent on the team, and you do have one more year. And it's not like Bo Bichette has been like terrible. Again, you want more from him. He's been a lot better recently. And then Vladdy's hitting over 300. After this game, it might be like 299, but he's right hovering around there. I just think that if you trade these guys, you're kind of taking a chance. And this front office has shown that it cannot hit on their prospects. You look at Kevin Biggio, was supposed to be this very highly touted prospect. I would say that's a failed mission so far. He just hasn't looked that good. He hasn't lived up to expectations. So even if this Blue Jays team were to blow it up, I mean, at that point, Ross Atkins is signing his resignation letter. But I don't know if I can fathom this team just completely blowing it up and moving on from both Vlad and Bo.
No, I agree with you there. That's why I'm sort of torn a little bit, because I don't know if I can handle a rebuild. I don't know if I trust a rebuild right now. But the other part of it, I mean, just going back to Kevin, like what you said, I mean, that's just name recognition, right? That's 100% what that was. It's the name bias, because his dad was so good. Like, I still use his card in MLB to this day. So that's a part of it. And I mean, that was a part of it with Vlad. That was a part of it with Bo. And I mean, yes, those two panned out a little bit better than Kevin did. But looking back, I mean, was Kevin Biggio the guy that people were going to pay big bucks to see? Come on. I think, like, me and you probably knew that like a long time ago. You know what I mean?
Just the way that Blue Jays media was advertising these guys. It was the big three, obviously Dante Bichette, Vladdy Sr., and then Craig Biggio. Like, it's just, again, the story kind of writes itself there a little bit. But you look at this team, you look in the Ross Atkins era. I don't count 2016 for the Ross Atkins era because he didn't really build that team. No. You don't have a playoff win. You don't have one. Not even one playoff win. You're 0 for 6 in the playoffs. And like, one of those series was against the Tampa Bay Rays in kind of the COVID year, whatever that was. The Seattle Mariners, I remember that game so clearly, and it is so frustrating, that second game. And that was actually when our offense could hit baseballs. So saying that, I think we're going to move on to the Toronto Blue Jays looks like leaked the City Connect jerseys. I've seen a lot of opinions on Twitter, on Instagram, stuff like that. But before we go into that, I just wanted to bring up the 24/7 Locked On streaming channel, either on Locked On Sports Today or the Amazon Fire TV's channel app. Whatever is more convenient for you, expert analysis over there, whether it's NBA, NHL, college sports, MLB, and the NBA is the other one. Perfect opportunity to check out expert analysis. We're going to get into the City Connects and then probably preview the second game of the White Sox series coming up.
Today's episode brought to you by Game Time. As you guys know, Game Time is one of our favorite apps. That's what we use to purchase our tickets when we went down to see the Blue Jays game. We got tickets in 3 different sections. We actually had a pre-scout on all of our tickets, so we knew exactly where we were sitting, what the view was going to be. That's one of the big perks of Game Time, is you can see exactly the view from your seat. As well, I think we hit on a couple of zone deals as well, which gives you, it's like limited pricing or certain sections go on sale. And that's why Game Time's really cool. You can find really cheap tickets and really good tickets is the difference, right? And for really cheap. And that's why Game Time's awesome. They also tell you if it's a good deal, if it's a bad deal, and a bunch of other different things. Like I said, they also have all-in pricing, which is cool. We knew exactly what we were paying before we went to the checkout. The seat views, they also have the lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. So, I was all over Twitter today. I was all over Twitter. People were battling on there. There's a little bit of battling. You know, are these jerseys good? Are they not? For those of you watching on YouTube, I'll put the picture up on the screen here. We'll sort of give it a quick description. And then honestly, getting right into our thoughts. I think some of you who follow me on Twitter at Braden5Uwasco know that what my opinion is. But let's show you guys here.
Yeah, and if you don't have, you're not watching on YouTube, just look up Toronto Blue Jays City Connect leaks. You'll probably be the first thing that comes up. And we will give a little bit of a description as well about it. So it is pretty much a full black jersey. You got the Toronto skyline in the background. It's blue, and then you got the Toronto letters. They're red with like a black and blue outline. Interesting there. And then you got these red and blue stripes kind of on the sleeves here. So I'm going to give it to you. I'll let you kind of go over your opinion on these first.
Yeah, to be honest with you, here, I'll put it back up just while I'm explaining. So when I look at this, I do like the city landscape. I think that's really cool. Actually, Carter, my joke on Twitter was, I'll pull it up, but it was like, I think these look like, hold on, I got to bring up the tweet, but I like this. I like the city skyline. I think that's really cool. So I replied to a tweet from Jordan Ciccelli. I want to say her name is. Follow her on Twitter as well. She posts some really good MLB Jays content as well. And she said that she thinks it's inspired by the lettering on the home run jacket. And I don't see it personally, but you know, whatever. I said this is inspired by what I tried to make in Google Paint when I was 10. Because it is just, it just looks sloppy. I mean, you get the blue sort of background on, or the whatever outline on the lettering, and it doesn't mesh with the blue in the background of the city skyline. So to me, it's like, it looks like a cheap knockoff a little bit. And then if I bring up the image of the hat, it sort of looks like it matches. I don't know.
See, I like the hats a lot better than the jersey, but I don't hate the concept of this. I just think they kind of botched it a little bit. Because the Toronto lettering, it looks terrible. I'll be the first one to say it. I don't like how it kind of like drips down the bottom under the Toronto lettering as well. I don't know what they were going for there. The stripes on the sleeves, again, another just a thing that I just can't get behind. Again, I'm with you here. I do like the skyline aspect. I think they just kind of botched it a little bit. And then the black jerseys, I love how they went with black. That just takes me back to like the OG Blue Jays, Jose Bautista. I just remember him wearing that jersey. So I think they're not completely wrong here. Like they have an okay prototype, I guess. Like again, it's Fanatics jersey as well, so that doesn't really help it either. But like they'd have to rework this obviously, because I would not buy this jersey. I'm sorry, I just wouldn't do it. But I don't mind the idea of the skyline. I don't mind the color scheme. I think I would throw a little bit more red in there than the blue for me. But again, it just a botched thing by the Toronto Blue Jays. It is nice to get City Connect jerseys, but that's not something that I can get on board of right now.
Well, I look at the White Sox jerseys, right? Where it's got, they're so electric with the white pinstripes. It looks so cool. And then I look at these, and it just doesn't do it. It doesn't do it even a little bit for me. I said I was pumped because this is like, I want to be able to buy the City Connect jerseys. It was going to be the quickest purchase of my life. And now seeing these, I'm like, I'm praying that it's not this. The only thing is the Blue Jays put out a little bit of a video, and Carter, I got to give you a little bit of props here. In the Toronto Blue Jays video, there was a lot of purple. So teasing it. So That's now making me think maybe these aren't the jerseys and these are just some whatever leaks. I love the hats. I love the hats. I would buy that hat easily. Jerseys, I'm out on. And they sort of look like they go together. So either they're both fake or they're both true. And at this point, I'm praying to God that they're both fake.
See, I just keep looking at this lettering, and I just don't know who approved that. That's really the thing for me that gets like it just like what are we doing here? And then these little stripes. It looks like they're like a centimeter thick, like just not thick at all on the
ones on the
there as
sleeves.
well. Yeah, the ones on the sleeves. These don't look like what? Why even add those? Like, that's kind of where I'm at with that.
I don't hate it. Like I think in a different looking style jersey, I would like this, but I don't think there's enough red on the rest of the jersey. And then the Nike symbol is orange. It looks like. I don't understand this at all. Like I just in my head, I think this is fake. I have to believe that because they are so horrendous. Like the more and more I look at it, the more and more I hate it. And maybe I'm off base. I think some of you are gonna really like it. Some of you guys are gonna be like, wow. And then some of you are gonna be sort of on our side and be like, this is terrible. Like I'm not wearing this out. It looks like I made this jersey for our slow pitch team.
See, I see the vision. Like I kind of see what they were going for. So that's why I'm not like completely out on it. But this is just like, it's like your first sketch that you kind of went over in the first draft and they just threw it out here. Again, it might not be real, but like it's, the lettering's just terrible. You know, the back, the last names are probably going to be all over the place as well. I think I sent you that James Paxton one that just PA and then a space literally in his name. Like these Fanatics jerseys, this whole thing could just be like shaboshed at this point. Like the Fanatics is on the suck bus. They're on the
suck bus. They are. Fanatics to the suck bus. Angel Hernandez to the suck bus.
Angel Hernandez is the driver of the suck bus. That guy's a lifelong member of the suck bus. You don't want to be on the suck bus.
He needs a new job. He's out one now, so.
Angel Hernandez spin zone, driving the suck bus. Hopefully coming to a bus stop near you. But saying that, thank you guys for watching. The like, support, all that kind of stuff is always appreciated. A little bit of debates going on in our comment section this last video with just a terrible loss, obviously, in that last Tigers game of the Toronto Blue Jays. But that's my favorite part about this, engaging with the fans, engaging with the people that watch the Toronto Blue Jays either casually or every single day. Going on this roller coaster of a season with not really even a roller coaster, I can't really say, because there's just been a ton of downs. There hasn't really been a lot of ups whatsoever, but we always appreciate the support. Before we do head out, want to throw it over one more time. Locked On 24/7 streaming channel, Locked On Sports Today, or the Amazon Fire TV's channel app. Pretty much whatever sport you want to watch is going to be on there. You leave it on all day, something in the background. When I'm doing chores, I always like to have some just anything on. So might as well take advantage, gain some sports knowledge, turn this on, check it out. So we do have a game obviously coming up. Mike Clevenger, and I think it's Kevin Gausman.
It is.
So again, the series, I'm not taking anything less than a series sweep, especially after that Tiger series. I'm not even back on this team if they sweep the White Sox. They have the best case scenario. They miss Crochet here. And then I believe they missed Fetty as well. So you got to take advantage. Yeah. This White Sox team has the worst record in baseball for a reason. You have the Pirates after this. And then I think it goes like Orioles, Red Sox, Brewers, Guardians, Red Sox. Like it's kind of a gauntlet after this. So you got to pick up. I'm going to say they got to go for the rest of this series. And I'll include the first game of the White Sox series. They got to go 5-1. Even at that point, then they're going 8-5 over this stretch. I said I wanted a minimum of 9-4. It's probably gone. It's not quite gone. It's not mathematically gone. But let's be honest, the Blue Jays aren't winning 6 games in a row. There's just no way.
Yeah, I don't have much faith in that. But I'm with you. I don't know anything in these next bunch of games that are going to bring me back. It's a tough road here for this being our easiest stretch of the season. And we're not doing well enough yet. So don't get me wrong. Is it a possibility that this team flips a switch and goes off? 100%. If I was to put money on it, though, I would say not so much.
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm going to be back in on this team. This team has to go at least 5-1, and then they got to win the Orioles series. If they can take 3 of 4 from the Orioles, again, if they can do this, I'm going to say it. I'll be back in on this team. Do I believe it's going to happen? From what I've seen this entire year so far, definitely not. I know we got Grayson Rodriguez that series, Corbin Burns. I think we miss Kyle Bradish in that series, which is good. But
Oh, yeah.
again, I mean, they're actually going to be facing some good pitching that series. We get lucky we missed Paul Skeens. Again, as a baseball fan, it would have been fun to see. He probably would have just went like 7 shutout innings. I think he's still on a pitch count right now, probably like 13 strikeouts, something ridiculous. You would have made this Blue Jays team look silly. But again, you got to take advantage of these poor pitching matchups, especially when you have such a good starting rotation that you have right now in the Blue Jays.
Yeah. And you know what? It's going to be interesting to watch over the next couple days here. This week, next week. I mean, it's big. At this point, it's huge for this ball club to pick up some wins. So hopefully they can do that. Hopefully we can watch some good baseball. But Carter, I don't know. This episode was crazy. It seemed like a lot came out today. And I think it was good that we went over it. I mean, the game, take what you will from that. But Angel Hernandez, everybody, he's out of the league. Let's celebrate. Everybody go have a beer or something. Be able to calm your nerves from the 33 years of misery that he brought us.
Here, I got one more thing, actually.
Okay.
Why, I know it's Memorial Day in the States, but why can't we coordinate like our May Long with the States May Long? Or like, why, I guess there's only one Canadian baseball team. So I'm answering my own question here. Like, how are we supposed to watch a 110 baseball game our time? There's no way. The working class is just getting screwed over here.
You work in radio, and you're able to have Blue Jays games on at work.
Yeah, I was following the game on the Score app when I could, but yeah, it's like I had to watch Blue Jays in 30 when I came back. Not the greatest viewing experience for me, but again, you look at this team and you get the highlights. That's pretty much, they showed all 3 hits that they got against Nastrini, because I think it was an IKF double, and then you had the Bo Bichette and the George Springer home runs. So a game, maybe it was a good thing that I didn't watch the game. Maybe we'll have to try to create that spin zone. If I'm not watching the game, maybe the Blue Jays are going to start winning here. I don't know if I can mentally do that, because I love the Blue Jays so much. I don't care how bad they're playing. But I mean, if somehow the Blue Jays are going to start winning when I just miss baseball games, I'm going to have to lay on my sword here and maybe take one for the team.
Yeah, you might have to. I hate to say it. I'll have to be yelling scores to you across the rooms. Anyway, guys, we want to thank you guys for watching as always. Drop a subscription here if you haven't already. Braden 5 Wasco, Carter First 2 on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Locked On Blue Jays. Just, keep doing what you guys do. We love the comments. It fires us up. I'm at work and I pretty much live to see the comments pop up on my screen. It's the best. Thanks again, guys. Take it easy.